Today we'll continue with discussion of physiology of cerebellum part 2. In the first part, we have learned regarding some anatomical aspect of cerebellum, physiological division, that is called as functional division of cerebellum, and main function of cerebellum is it provides rate, rhythm and force of contraction to the muscle. It is giving feedback to motor cortex via thalamus, and like this it is controlling the muscle tone through cerebral cortex. Now let's continue the discussion. In the last part we have seen the layers of cerebral cortex. Now continue with the histological aspect, that is functional division of the layers. It is based on the competency PY 10.7, describe and discuss functions of cerebellum and their abnormalities. So this we have seen last in this section. It has three layers. In the cerebellar cortex, molecular layer, middle that is a Purkinje layer, and innermost that is granular layer. Now let's dissect it out and see what are the functional connections in this. So this is the cell called as granular cell. It is giving its dendrites which are going up like this and they are running parallelly. So that's why they are called as the parallel fibers. So these are the dendrites coming from granular cell. So these are providing a big network for connections coming from granular cell. Okay. So dendrites are going from here and they are running parallelly. So these are called as parallel fibers. Now this is the biggest cell present in the brain. This is called as a Purkinje cell. So this cell is key cell of cerebellar cortex. Now it is having dendritic connections with this parallel fiber. So in this way both cells are connected. So there is a synaptic connection between Purkinje cell and the granular cell. Now in this parallel fiber some more cells are there. So this cell which is red in color appearing here, this is called as a Golgi cell. So here also it is having a synaptic connection with parallel fiber. It is having also connection with the granular cell. Now this cell present again in the parallel fibers is called as a basket cell because it is appearing like a anatomically basket. So again it is having, you can see, connections with the parallel fibers. It is also having connection with the Purkinje cell. Now this third category of cell located again in the parallel fibers, it is called as stellate cell. So this cell is again having a connection with the parallel fibers. So like this, Golgi cell, basket cell and stellate cell all are having synaptic connections with the granular cell, and the basket cell in addition is having connection with the Purkinje cell. The stellate cell also having connection with the Purkinje cell. Now this layer which is formed by the parallel fibers, and in this we are having three types of cell, that is Golgi cell, basket cell and stellate cell. So this layer is called as molecular layer. So this molecular layer is nothing but combination of all these cells and the parallel fiber. So this is the first outer layer of cerebellar cortex. Now the second layer in which you are having this biggest cell, obviously as the name indicates, this layer is called as a Purkinje cell layer. So this is the second layer in which we are having a big Purkinje cells are there. Now this third layer which consists of this granular cell, this layer is called as obviously granular cell layer. So like this three layers are there. In the molecular layer we are having three cells, that is Golgi cells, basket cells and stellate cell. Then Purkinje cell layer will have only Purkinje cells, and granular cell layer will have only granules in this layer. Now in the deep aspect of the cerebral cortex there are cells called as deep nuclei. So these are nothing but neurons, but as located deep they are called as the deep nuclei. So these are the nuclei of cerebellar cortex. Now this band of fibers which is caused by Exons of all this is called as a white matter. Okay, so this white matter is the, so like this is the layers of cerebellum which is having a functional importance now. Now this granular cell receives afferent. You can see this are the afferents coming to the granular cell. These afferents go to this as well as Golgi cell as well as the deep nuclei. So these are called as, these are excitatory in nature. So I've shown here all positive. Positive means they will release excitatory neurotransmitter and they will excite the stimulating cell. So these are called as mossy fibers. So these afferents which are coming to granular cell are called as mossy fiber. They are making synaptic connection with granular cell, Golgi cell as well as deep nuclei, and these are excitatory in nature. So this is the mossy fiber. Now this parallel fiber which are coming from our granular cell, these are again also excitatory in nature. So positive means they will excite. At synaptic connection there is a release of excitatory neurotransmitters are released at this ending. So all this comes from granular cell, all these connections, Golgi cell, basket cell and stellate cell will be excited. Now this output coming from Purkinje cell layer to deep nuclei. This is basically only output coming out from cerebellar cortex. This I have shown red in color. So it is inhibitory in nature. I have shown here as negative. So it is inhibitory in nature. So it will inhibit deep nuclei. So this is the output coming from Purkinje cell to deep nuclei. And output coming out from deep nuclei is excitatory in nature. Okay, so it will release excitatory transmitter. So you can see these mossy fibers are exciting them. So it will excite the deep nuclei. Whereas Purkinje cell are inhibiting deep nuclei, and so that means it will put up the brake on the deep nuclei. So it is called as a feed forward inhibition. So granular cells are excited by mossy fiber. These are exciting the Purkinje cell, and Purkinje cell are inhibiting this one. Means direct connection is excitation, is inhibition. So like this, excitation inhibition takes place and output coming out from deep nuclei will vary as per the requirement. When we need excitation, that time excitation will come, and other time it may be inhibition. Means that means the brake will be there. Means excitation will get reduced because of this inhibition from this one. So acceleration is there. When we are driving a car, we are putting up our foot on the acceleration, but when we need to put up a brake, we want to stop the car, we are putting up the brake. So like this, excitation is coming out from deep nuclei, but it is under control coming from the Purkinje cell. So this is very, very important. So these connections are making output coming out from the cerebellar cortex is excitation basically, but it is under control from Purkinje cell, which are inhibitory in nature. Now this one more afferent is coming. You can see I have shown this one afferent. So this is called as a climbing fiber. So these climbing fibers are going to both deep nuclei as well as they are going to the Purkinje cell. And again they are excitatory in nature. I have shown positive marks here. Positive means they will release excitatory neurotransmitter and they will excite the postsynaptic cell. Negative means they are releasing inhibitory neurotransmitter. So like this deep nuclei is getting afferent from mossy fiber as well as climbing fiber, which will excite them, and they will receive inhibition coming from Purkinje cell, and Purkinje cell will receive excitation from this our granular cell. Apart from this all three now, this located molecular cell, this satellite, basket and Golgi. So these are all three are inhibitory in nature. You can see here I have shown that is inhibition. So these are inhibiting them. So all these are inhibitory in nature. So they are inhibiting Purkinje cell. That means again a brake is coming on this. So Purkinje cell, they are inhibited means brake will be reduced. It will go and excite. Excitation unopposed. So like this, there is internal circuit is there which will manage the output coming from Purkinje cell and output coming from deep nuclei. They will get, if they get inhibited, what happen? Inhibition is reduced, so excitation will go unopposed. But when these are exciting them, excitation increases and output will be less. So like this, tuning will take place on the muscle tone. So output coming from cerebellum is excitatory, but it is guarded and kept by the brake also. So the excitation may be at one time 100, it may be only 10, it may be only 2. So like this, output will vary as per the requirement. I've told you, for example, when I want to lift my mobile, which is weighing only 100 gram, amount of contraction required is very less. Say it is at 10 degrees. But when I want to lift my laptop, which is weighing about 2 kgs, I need more amount of contraction. So that time excitation required will be more. But on the contrary, when I am coming back from laptop to my mobile, contraction required will be very less. So from 200, contraction has to be reduced to only 10. So like this, output is modified as per the requirement. So this is very, very key circuit we need to understand. Output coming from deep nuclei is excitatory. Output coming from Purkinje cell is inhibitory. It is only output coming to the deep nuclei, and this Purkinje cell are getting excitation from granular cell and inhibition coming from all three cells, that is Golgi cell, basket cell and the stellate cell. So like this, a good circuit is created and output is excitatory with a brake on this one. So this cerebellar cortex having 5 cells, Purkinje cell, granular cell, which receives input from mossy fibers and innervate Purkinje cell, basket cell, stellate cell and Golgi cell. So out of this, only output from cerebellar cortex generally passes to deep nuclei by the Purkinje cell. So all these 3 cells are inhibitory in nature. Purkinje cell again inhibitory in nature. Only excitatory is the granular cell. So like this, they are regulating the functions of cerebellum. Now this deep cerebellar nuclei are 4 types: dentate, globus, emboliform and fastigial nuclei. So like these 4 deep nuclei are there. They are having connections with the different parts of the cerebellum. So this Purkinje cell, granular cell, Golgi cell, basket cell and stellate cell. These are the deep nuclei. So this is the afferent coming to granular cell. It is going to deep nuclei also, and it is going to Purkinje cell and all these 3 cells. Means this afferent, which are mossy fiber, are indirectly supplying all. So this afferent is coming from clumping fibers. So these 3 are inhibitory in nature. I have shown red. These are inhibitory in nature. This is again inhibitory nature. I have shown in the red. Output coming from deep nuclei is green, that is excitatory, going to cortex as well as brainstem. From here, cortex will come down again by the descending track to our ultimate destination, spinal cord. From here, execution takes place. So like this, cerebellum is contributing in the muscle tone through cortex. So now this afferents, which are the afferent? Clumping fiber, basically it is nothing but fibers coming from inferior olivary nuclei located in the medulla, which receives inputs from vestibular system, spinal cord and cerebral cortex. So this clumping fiber is collecting information from all this, which are going by inferior olivary nuclei to our granular cell, that is cerebellum. But the mossy fiber are bunch of fiber, basically they have got multiple inputs. Input coming from vestibular impulse, so it is called as vestibulocerebellar fibers, coming from the body through proprioceptor. These are called as dorsal spinocerebellar fibers, again coming from proprioceptors from the body, ventral spinocerebellar, proprioceptors coming from head and neck region. These are called as geniocerebellar, and impulse coming from auditory visual impulse. These are called as tectocerebellar, And finally, coming from cerebral cortex via pontine nuclei, these are called as pontocerebellar. So this mossy fiber is nothing but bunch of all these afferents: vestibulocerebellar, torsospinocerebellar, ventral spinocerebellar, cuniocerebellar, tectocerebellar, and pontocerebellar. So they are almost connecting from whole part of the body. So these are the bunch of fibers coming from whole part of the body. Proprioceptor, if you recall, these are the receptors present in muscle spindle, Golgi tendon, and the joint. So these are collecting information regarding body position. So they are giving the inputs regarding body position so that corrections can be done. So this from your textbook of physiology guide 10, afferents are there. You can see just they are just mixed up. I have segregated them, and these are the efferents coming from cerebellum. Now this is diagram from your genome. Same diagram I have shown in the previous one. This is our granular cell. This is our Golgi cell, basket cell, and this is our Purkinje fiber. Stellate cell they have not given. These are our deep nuclei. So output coming here you can see is the positive. These are all being excited and these are inhibiting them. So this, okay, so these are the, from this it is inhibitory in nature. Okay, so ultimately here also this is inhibitory in nature. I've shown here. So these are the mossy fiber, these are the clumping fiber which are excitatory afferents. These are exciting the cells. Okay, so directly excitation. So these are excitation. Okay, but inhibition coming from basket cell and Purkinje cell, these are again inhibitory in nature. So like this, ultimate output coming from here is excitatory with a breaks constantly. So excitation will be less and more depending. Now this is the important connections I've shown based on the functional divisions of cerebellum. This is our vestibular cerebellum, having obviously the connection with the vestibular nuclei. And if you recall, vestibular nuclei is having a connection with the vestibular apparatus. So this tract, it is communication with the vestibulospinal tract. So it is maintaining the body posture in response to change in the body positions, that is maintaining the balance. Now this spinocerebellum is having connection with the two nuclei, emboliformis nuclei and globus nuclei. From here it is communicating with the red nucleus. So this fiber is called as a rubrospinal tract, as well as it is having connection with the fastigious nuclei. So these are the deep nuclei. These are the deep nuclei of the cerebellar cortex. So from here it is going to the reticular formation. So this is the reticulospinal tract. That means spinocerebellum is having connection with the rubrospinal and reticulospinal. Through that it is regulating the muscle tone. And this neocerebellum or cerebrocerebellum, it is having connection with the dentate nucleus. It will give output to thalamus, from here to the motor cortex, and from here our corticospinal tract. So like this, these three segments of cerebellar cortex, that is vestibular cerebellum, is having connection with the vestibular nucleus and vestibulospinal tract. So it is maintaining muscle balance and equilibrium with the help of the vestibular apparatus. Spinocerebellum is having connection with the reticulospinal tract and rubrospinal tract, and it is maintaining the body posture, especially the axial skeleton. And this neocerebellum is having connection through the dentate nucleus, through that to thalamus, and through that to corticospinal tract. So like this, these tracts are involved in regulation of muscle tone with the cerebellum. Now again, this our basic sketch which we have seen in the initial motor cortex. From here fibers are going to cerebellum. So here plan of action is going from the muscle, actual body position by the proprioceptor information is coming. So, and from thalamus corrections are going back to motor cortex. through corticospinal tract. So these are the afferent connections which now we have seen which are the afferent fibers here. Bulk of fibers are coming in the Mosey fibers and climbing fibers. So these are the efferents. So basically plan of action coming from cortex going to cerebellum. Cerebellum receiving a copy of the current body position from proprioceptors. It will now send necessary corrections to thalamus to cerebral cortex. From here it will come down for execution, and now muscle tone will modify accordingly. So it plays a very important role in correction of muscle contraction. Ultimately everything is coming down on our alpha motor neuron and gamma motor neuron, and this will change the rate, force and rhythm of muscle contraction. That is why there is an important role of cerebellum in coordination of activities. So its main function is basically coordination of movement. So whatever movement we have planned, it is tried to match with current action and it will give necessary corrections. So that is why if there is any damage to cerebellum, coordination is affected. That is called as, lack of coordination is called as ataxia, in coordination of movement. So muscle is not paralyzed. Person will be able to do muscle contraction, but it is uncoordinated. So dysmetria, pass pointing means if I want to touch some object, so with certain amount of contraction is required, but as the correction is not there, I may go for behind or may come at one point. For example, I want to touch here, my finger may go like this at this point or it may end here. So this is called as dysmetria or pass pointing. Person is unable to exactly fix the amount of contraction required. Intention tremor. Whenever any activity a person plans to do, suppose he want to catch a glass, that time tremor starts because he is trying to do some contraction, but amount of contraction required will vary as the cerebellum is not giving necessary correction. So tremors will start the moment person want to perform some action, that is called as intention tremor. It is in contrast with the basal ganglion lesion where we are having a resting tremor. Rebound phenomena. So actions are reflexed back. So want to do some action, it goes in reversely. Dysdiadokinesis. So these are all nothing but all different forms of ataxia in coordination of movement. So here alternate pronation supination is defective. Decomposition of movement. If I want to button my shirts, routinely we are doing very easily, but very easy means it needs a coordination of my shoulder, my elbow joint, my wrist joint and finger joint. All should contract in a sequential manner, then only I will be able to button my shirts, unbutton my shirt or combing my hairs. So in this condition now, sequential contraction is interrupted, so the movements are decomposed. One contraction, other will relax, other contraction. So like this, there is a disturbed movement will be there. Scanning speech. Again for the speech, we need a smooth contraction of our tongue muscles, which is lost in this individual. So ultimately, so these are the classical features of cerebellar disease. Lack of coordination, as the main function of cerebellum is coordination of movement. We get ataxia, dysmetria, intention tremor, rebound phenomena, dysdiadochokinesia, decomposition of movement and scanning speed. So here we are finishing the cerebellum, physiology of cerebellum part 2. In the part 1 we have seen anatomical consideration, anatomical division of cerebellum, and we have seen what are the functions of cerebellum and what are the layers. Now in this lecture we have seen what is the histological division of cerebellum, different layers, different neurons present here, there, and the deep nuclei, how the function takes place. Ultimate output coming from cerebellar cortex is coming from deep nuclei, which is excitatory in nature, which is having inhibition coming from Purkinje cell, and Purkinje cell is getting inhibition from Golgi cell, basket cell, stellate cell, but excitation is coming from Purkinje cell, and all afferents are exciting Purkinje cell as well as the deep nuclei as well as the granular cell. So ultimately output gives corrections to the cortex via thalamus and it regulates the force rate of muscle contraction, and it maintains the tone. That is called as coordination. So here we complete physiology of cerebellum. Thank you.